Over 2,000 years ago, Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king of the Roman Empire, led with not only power but profound wisdom. In a time of brutal conquests and political intrigue, his Stoic philosophy allowed him to command respect effortlessly, both from allies and adversaries. His leadership wasn't defined by force, but by inner calm and thoughtful decision-making. In today's chaotic world, his timeless strategies offer practical tools for anyone looking to lead with authority, maintain poise under pressure, or inspire admiration in everyday interactions. This video delves into powerful lessons from Marcus Aurelius that can transform how you are perceived and how you perceive yourself. Clarity and simplicity. Clarity and simplicity are not just about stripping away the unnecessary, but about revealing the essence of what truly matters. They are the quiet power behind effective communication, the tools that allow you to cut through the noise and speak directly to the heart of the matter. Imagine this. In a world brimming with distractions, where every conversation is laced with ambiguity, the ability to speak with clarity becomes a rare and valuable skill. It's like being a beacon in the fog, guiding others with your straightforwardness. But here's the intriguing part. Clarity is not about making things dull or overly simplistic. It's about distilling complexity into something that resonates with your audience. It's not about dumbing down the message. It's about making it shine with precision. Take a moment and think about a profound statement you've heard. Maybe it was a quote that stuck with you, or a piece of advice that changed your perspective. The power of those words likely came from their simplicity, their ability to get straight to the point without excess. That's the essence of clarity, stripping away everything that isn't necessary so that only the truth remains, unburdened and pure. Simplicity, on the other hand, goes hand in hand with clarity, but it carries its own weight. It's a philosophy, a mindset of approaching things with a sense of elegance that avoids overcomplication. Simplicity doesn't mean cutting corners or sacrificing depth. Rather, it's about finding the most direct path to understanding, and then following it without hesitation. When you combine clarity and simplicity, you create a bridge between yourself and others. It's like translating the complexity of the world into something digestible and actionable. Whether you're giving a speech, writing an email, or having a conversation, these two principles make it easier for your message to be received and remembered. This approach resonates deeply with Stoic philosophy. The Stoics prized rational thought and clear, purposeful action. They understood that life can be chaotic and overwhelming, but in moments of difficulty, it's the simple truths and clear intentions that guide us. To think clearly and act simply is to align oneself with nature, to embrace what is essential and let go of the excess. In a way, clarity and simplicity are an invitation. They invite others to see the world through your eyes, to join you in the pursuit of truth without distraction. They give your words the weight they deserve, making them not just heard, but felt. Confidence. Confidence is like a quiet force, neither loud nor brash, but undeniably present. It's the subtle power that doesn't demand attention but commands respect. Think of it as the calm before a storm, or the stillness of a deep lake. Confidence isn't about boasting or arrogance. It's the quiet certainty that comes from knowing your worth and your purpose, and living from that place with unwavering conviction. At its core, confidence is an inner knowing. It's not built on external validation or hollow praise, but on the solid foundation of self-trust. This kind of confidence doesn't require constant affirmation because it springs from an internal reservoir. It's a deep belief in your abilities and judgment, even when the world around you is uncertain. It's understanding that no matter what happens, you'll navigate through it with resilience. Intriguingly, confidence isn't always about being right or having all the answers. It's about the courage to embrace uncertainty, to stand tall in the face of the unknown. It's the ability to take a step forward, even when you don't have a clear path laid out. True confidence thrives in the space between comfort and discomfort, where risk is present but you trust that you can handle what comes your way. But here's what makes confidence truly fascinating: it's contagious. When you carry yourself with genuine confidence, it creates a ripple effect. Others start to trust you, not because you demand it, but because your actions and presence exude an undeniable certainty. It's almost magnetic. People are drawn to that energy, to the authenticity behind it. It becomes a quiet invitation for others to be confident in themselves as well. In Stoic terms, confidence is closely tied to self-mastery. The Stoics didn't focus on external achievements to define their worth. Rather, they understood that true confidence comes from controlling one's reactions, attitudes, and actions in any given situation. It's about cultivating an internal stability that remains undisturbed by life's unpredictable currents. A Stoic doesn't need the world's applause to know their value. They know their purpose, and they move forward with quiet assurance. Confidence is also about embracing failure, not as a reflection of who you are, but as part of the journey. It's the understanding that every setback is an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to deepen your self-belief. In that sense, confidence becomes a dynamic force. It isn't stagnant or dependent on past victories, but constantly evolving through experience. In a world that often equates confidence with extroversion or perfection, the true essence of confidence is found in quiet, steady conviction. It's a peace that comes from knowing you don't need to prove yourself to anyone, because you've already accepted and valued your own path. Active listening. Active listening is not just about hearing words. It's about truly experiencing what is being said. Imagine you are standing on the edge of a river, watching the current flow by. The water, though constantly moving, still holds a deep silence within. Active listening is much like that. It's an intentional stillness that allows you to fully absorb the currents of another person's thoughts, feelings, and intentions. At its heart, active listening is a practice of deep presence. It's not about formulating your response while the other person is speaking, but about immersing yourself in their words as though they are the only thing that matters in that moment. It's a rare skill because it requires you to put aside your own thoughts, judgments, and biases, and tune into the rhythm of the other person's voice, body language, and energy. When you truly listen, something profound happens. The conversation deepens. You're not just exchanging words. You're connecting on a level that transcends surface-level interactions. Active listening creates an environment where the speaker feels heard, valued, and understood. It's like a mirror that reflects not just what's said, but the feelings and emotions behind it. This kind of listening makes people feel seen in a way that few other experiences can replicate. But here's where it gets even more intriguing. Active listening is as much about silence as it is about sound. It's in the pauses, the moments when you're not speaking, where understanding often takes root. By allowing space for the speaker to think, reflect, and share more, you create a dynamic flow in the conversation. This silence isn't empty, it's pregnant with potential, inviting the other person to go deeper, to explore more fully. Active listening also requires a certain vulnerability. When you listen with genuine curiosity, you open yourself to being influenced by what the other person says. It's not about agreeing or disagreeing immediately, it's about allowing the other's perspective to exist in your world, and perhaps even challenge your own assumptions. It's the willingness to be changed, to be moved by the story of another. In a way, active listening is a quiet art form. It takes practice and patience, but it's incredibly powerful. It deepens relationships, fosters empathy, and builds trust in a way that nothing else can. People who are truly listened to feel a rare connection. They don't feel alone in their thoughts and emotions. They know that someone, in that moment, sees them fully, without judgment or distraction. And it's not just about listening to others. Active listening is a profound tool for listening to yourself. By truly listening to others, you learn to listen to the subtle messages of your own mind and heart. You become more aware of your own thoughts, your emotional responses, and how you react to the world around you. In a world filled with distractions and noise, active listening is an invitation to slow down, tune in, and reconnect with the art of true presence. It's the simple yet profound act of hearing not just words, but the essence of what's being communicated, a skill that, once honed, transforms how you engage with the world. Empathy and emotional intelligence. Empathy and emotional intelligence are like twin stars in the vast constellation of human connection, guiding us toward deeper understanding and richer relationships. But to truly grasp their power, one must first realize that these aren't just traits or skills. They're windows to a profound way of being in the world, a way that allows us to step beyond ourselves and into the hearts and minds of others. Empathy is the ability to feel what another person feels, to step into their emotional world and understand their struggles, joys, and fears. But it's not just about walking in someone else's shoes, it's about truly feeling the terrain of their experience. Imagine standing in a storm with someone, and instead of offering advice or judgment, you simply stand there with them, offering a shelter of presence. That's empathy. Being with someone in their emotions, without trying to change or fix them, simply offering the gift of understanding. But empathy isn't just a passive experience, it's an active, dynamic connection. It's about recognizing the invisible threads that tie us together as human beings. When you can feel another's pain or joy deeply, you break through the barrier of isolation and experience a profound sense of shared humanity. In that moment, you aren't separate, you are bound in a deep, emotional dialogue that transcends words. Emotional intelligence, EQ, is the ability to recognize, understand, and manage both your own emotions and the emotions of others. It's an intricate dance of awareness and control, a delicate balance of emotional expression and regulation. To have high EQ is to be in tune with the subtleties of emotional landscapes, not only your own but those of the people around you. It's about reading between the lines, perceiving the emotions that may not be spoken, and navigating them with grace. EQ isn't just about being sensitive to emotions, it's about using that sensitivity to guide your interactions in ways that foster understanding and connection. It's like being a skilled musician who can hear the nuances of every note and rhythm, creating harmony instead of discord. Someone with high EQ can sense when a conversation has shifted in tone, when someone is holding back, or when an emotional undercurrent needs to be addressed. But the true magic of emotional intelligence is in its response. It's one thing to recognize emotions, it's another to respond to them with clarity, care, and wisdom. With EQ, you learn to navigate emotions with purpose, not letting them control you, but using them as a compass to steer your actions. It's the ability to remain calm in a storm, to choose your responses with intentionality, rather than reacting impulsively or defensively. Empathy and emotional intelligence are deeply intertwined. Empathy allows us to feel what others feel, but emotional intelligence allows us to respond in a way that nurtures connection and understanding. Together, they are the foundations of true emotional mastery, creating spaces where people feel safe, seen, and supported. Here's where it gets even more intriguing. Empathy and emotional intelligence are not static traits. They are skills that can be cultivated and refined. They are like muscles that grow stronger the more you exercise them. You don't have to be born with them. Anyone can develop these abilities by practicing self-awareness, reflection, and mindfulness. In fact, the more you cultivate your own emotional intelligence, the more you'll unlock the power of empathy, and vice versa. Imagine living in a world where everyone had a deep well of empathy and emotional intelligence. Conversations would be more meaningful, conflicts would be resolved with care, and relationships would thrive in an atmosphere of mutual respect and understanding. Empathy and emotional intelligence are the invisible threads that weave us together, making our connections richer, deeper, and more authentic. In a world often driven by logic and intellect, these emotional capacities are the heart's quiet revolution, reminding us that we are not just thinkers or doers, we are feeling beings, and that's what makes us truly human. Purposeful pauses are like the quiet moments between musical notes, where the absence of sound creates space for something even more profound: reflection, intention, and clarity. In a world that moves at a dizzying pace, where the demand for constant action and decision-making often feels overwhelming, these pauses become not just a luxury but a necessity, an intentional break from the constant rush, offering a moment to realign with purpose and clarity. A purposeful pause is not just a gap of silence, it's a deliberate moment of stillness, a space where you actively choose to stop, breathe, and reconnect with your deeper self. It's the art of pressing pause not out of avoidance but as a conscious act of stepping back to recalibrate. Think of it as a moment of strategic stillness in a game of chess, where you take your time to assess the board, anticipate the next move, and position yourself for success. Why are purposeful pauses so powerful? They create the time and space for clarity to emerge from the chaos of daily life. In a world constantly bombarding us with noise, emails, notifications, demands, pausing allows us to reset our mental and emotional states. It's like hitting a reset button on your mind. Without that pause, we risk getting swept away by the noise, reacting impulsively, and losing sight of what truly matters. A purposeful pause allows you to engage in the rare art of thinking before acting. It's not just about slowing down for the sake of it, but about being deliberate with your next step. Imagine you're on the verge of making an important decision, whether it's responding to a difficult email, having a heated conversation, or deciding on a career change. Without a pause, you might be tempted to rush in, driven by emotion or external pressure. But with a purposeful pause, you create a moment of reflection. You ask yourself, what's the best course of action? What is aligned with my values? What do I truly need in this moment? These pauses also serve as a chance to tune into your body and emotions. Sometimes, we operate on autopilot, acting without really checking in with ourselves. A pause forces you to ask, how do I feel right now? Am I anxious? Frustrated? Excited? This simple practice of self-awareness, of listening to your inner state, is often the difference between an emotional reaction and a thoughtful response. Purposeful pauses have the power to shift the course of your day, your relationships, and your life. They help you break free from the tyranny of doing and offer you the space to simply be. It's in these pauses that you find moments of insight, inspiration, and creativity that would otherwise be drowned out by the noise. Here's where the magic happens. When you make the pause a regular practice, you begin to notice patterns in your thoughts and actions. You start to see the areas where you've been reacting mindlessly, the places where your energy is being drained, or where you've been living out of alignment with your true desires. These pauses open the door to clarity and intuition, allowing you to step into life with more presence, purpose, and wisdom. Purposeful pauses are more than just moments of stillness, they are moments of power. They are the key to deepening your focus, sharpening your decisions, and reconnecting with your deeper sense of meaning. Imagine how much more intentional, calm, and centered you would be if you gave yourself permission to pause, reflect, and act from a place of purpose. In a world that glorifies hustle and constant motion, the purposeful pause is a quiet act of rebellion, a refusal to be swept along by the currents of mindless action. It's the space between thoughts, the gap that holds the potential for everything to shift. It's the gift of slowing down to speed up, because when you pause with purpose, you're not just stopping, you're aligning yourself with the flow of life in a way that propels you forward, more mindfully and more effectively. Adaptability. Adaptability is the art of dancing with life's ever-changing rhythm, gracefully adjusting when the music shifts, and finding harmony even when the tempo suddenly changes. It is a quiet yet powerful force that allows us to navigate the unpredictable, embrace the unexpected, and thrive amidst uncertainty. Imagine a tree in a storm. Its roots are firm, but its branches bend with the wind. Adaptability is that ability to stay grounded in who we are while bending, adjusting, and flourishing in response to the world around us. In essence, adaptability is the skill of evolving in real time, not just when things are easy but when life demands something new. It's like being in the middle of a dance and instead of resisting a sudden change in steps, you flow with it, sometimes with grace, sometimes with awkwardness, but always with the conviction that you can make it work. It's not about having control over the external world but about owning your ability to change, to stretch, and to grow no matter what's thrown your way. Think of adaptability as the mental flexibility that lets you move through challenges with ease. It's what helps you pivot when plans fall apart, respond thoughtfully to criticism, or embrace new opportunities that feel daunting at first. The world doesn't wait for you to be ready, and the unexpected is not a question of if but when. Adaptability is your toolkit, your inner resource for responding with creativity, patience, and resilience. There's a beauty in adaptability. It's rooted in curiosity. It doesn't wait for certainty to make a move. It thrives on the uncertainty itself, recognizing that change is the one constant in life. Like a chameleon that shifts color depending on its surroundings, adaptability allows you to transform without losing your essence, to find a way to be effective even when the terrain shifts beneath you. But adaptability is not just about reacting. It's about anticipating change and cultivating the flexibility to grow through it. It's about being proactive and not waiting for the winds to change, but learning to ride them even before they arrive. When you are adaptable, you're constantly learning, seeing challenges as opportunities for growth, change as an invitation for innovation, and uncertainty as a chance to test your limits. The beauty of adaptability lies in its quiet power. It's not a flashy trait that demands attention or accolades. It's the steady presence that allows you to stand tall in moments of uncertainty. It's the grace with which you meet the unknown, the ability to find calm in the chaos and clarity in the confusion. In relationships, work, and life, adaptability makes you the kind of person who doesn't break when things get tough. You bend, you adapt, and you emerge stronger than before. At its core, adaptability is not about being everything at once but knowing how to be the right thing, at the right moment, and in the right way. It's about allowing yourself the space to pivot and grow, trusting that your ability to change will always be your greatest strength. In the grand dance of life, adaptability is the skill that allows you to not only survive the unpredictability of existence but to thrive within it. So, the next time life throws you a curveball or changes the game, instead of resisting it, embrace the dance of adaptability. You might just find that it's in those moments of challenge that you discover the most powerful version of yourself. Assertiveness. Assertiveness is the art of standing firm in your own truth while respecting the truths of others. It's not about dominating the conversation, but about owning your voice in a world that often tries to speak for you. Assertiveness is the quiet strength of knowing where you begin and where others end, and having the courage to express your needs, desires, and boundaries without fear or hesitation. It's not the same as aggression, which bulldozes over others. Rather, assertiveness is the powerful act of speaking your mind with respect, clarity, and confidence. Imagine being in a crowded room where everyone is speaking over each other, each voice striving to be heard. Now picture yourself in that space, calm and centered, articulating your thoughts with precision and confidence, unshaken by the noise around you. That is the essence of assertiveness. It's the ability to assert your presence, without apology, while maintaining your integrity and the respect of those around you. At its core, assertiveness is about self-respect and the recognition that your voice deserves to be heard, just as much as anyone else's. It's not about being loud or forceful, but about being clear, concise, and unwavering in your communication. It's the ability to say no when necessary, to set healthy boundaries, and to ask for what you want or need without guilt or fear of rejection. When you're assertive, you're in control of how you express yourself and how you allow others to treat you. There's a subtle but profound power in assertiveness. It allows you to engage with others without compromising who you are. It's about balancing self-advocacy with empathy, speaking up for yourself without diminishing others. It's the quiet confidence of someone who knows that their needs matter, who understands that their thoughts and feelings are worthy of being shared, and who refuses to shrink back in the face of opposition. Assertiveness doesn't just protect your boundaries, it also cultivates respect in your relationships. When you are assertive, you show others how to treat you with dignity. You don't demand respect, you invite it by modeling the behavior you wish to receive. It's a way of communicating that doesn't just empower you, but also encourages others to express themselves authentically and confidently. But assertiveness isn't always easy. In a world that often values quiet compliance over bold expression, speaking up can feel like swimming against the tide. Yet, it's in those moments of discomfort where assertiveness truly shines. It's the bravery to step into the uncomfortable space of confrontation or vulnerability, knowing that it's necessary for your personal growth and self-expression. It's the courage to disrupt the status quo in favor of living authentically. Consider this: assertiveness is not just about what you say, but how you say it. It's about cultivating a presence that commands attention, not through volume, but through the power of authenticity. You express your needs, your opinions, and your desires not from a place of arrogance, but from the quiet confidence of someone who knows their worth. In life, assertiveness gives you the tools to navigate difficult conversations, to ask for what you deserve, and to stand tall in your own truth. It's a key ingredient for building strong, healthy relationships and creating the life you want to live. So, the next time you find yourself hesitating to speak up or wondering if your voice matters, remember that assertiveness is not a gift reserved for a select few. It is a skill that anyone can develop, and in cultivating it, you'll find the power to shape your reality, one word at a time. Consistency. Consistency is the quiet force that turns dreams into reality. It's the power of showing up, day after day, regardless of how you feel or what the world throws at you. While talent, inspiration, and luck are fleeting, consistency is the steadfast companion that propels us forward, even when the path ahead seems unclear. It's not the dramatic leaps that create success, but the small, repeated steps that accumulate over time, creating something greater than the sum of its parts. Imagine building a house. Each brick laid carefully and methodically, one after another. Alone, each brick might seem insignificant, but over time, these small actions combine to form something monumental. Consistency is that brick-by-brick process. It's the routine, the commitment, the daily effort that builds something lasting. It's the realization that success isn't a sudden burst of brilliance, but a collection of deliberate actions sustained over time. There's an almost magical quality to consistency. It transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary. It turns mundane tasks into pathways to mastery. Take a musician practicing scales every day, or an athlete running miles on end. What seems repetitive and unremarkable in the short term becomes the foundation for greatness. The power of consistency lies in its ability to compound. It's the force that builds expertise, cultivates habits, and molds character. Consistency is often mistaken for monotony, but in reality, it's anything but. It's a commitment to showing up, even when the spark of excitement has faded. It's the patience to trust that the results will come, even when they seem far away. It's knowing that while the results may not be immediate, the effort is never wasted. Each action, no matter how small, adds value, moving you closer to your goal. The true beauty of consistency lies in its quiet ability to build momentum. It's not just about working hard, though. Consistency is also about being intentional. It's about focusing on the right actions, day in and day out, with purpose and precision. It's not just about effort, but about deliberate effort towards something meaningful. Whether you're trying to master a skill, build a business, or create a lifestyle, consistency means aligning your actions with your vision and staying true to that vision, even when the path gets rocky. What makes consistency truly powerful is its ability to create trust. People who are consistent, whether in their words or actions, become reliable, dependable. This builds a reputation of integrity, as others begin to trust that your actions will align with your intentions. In relationships, in work, in personal growth, consistency is the bedrock of trust. It signals that you can be counted on, that you will persist through challenges, and that you are committed to the long haul. In a world that craves instant gratification, consistency is often the hardest path to take. It requires patience, discipline, and a willingness to face discomfort over the long term. But it's also the most rewarding. Because, in the end, it's not the flashy bursts of energy or the one-off victories that matter most. It's the steady, unwavering commitment to doing the right thing, even when no one is watching, even when it's difficult, even when it feels like no progress is being made. Consistency doesn't just yield results, it transforms us. It's in the small, consistent actions that we build our character, our discipline, and our resilience. It's in the repetition of effort that we forge the habits that define who we are. Through consistency, we become the kind of people who can achieve the impossible, not through luck, but through persistent, determined action. So remember this: success isn't a single moment of brilliance, it's a lifelong journey of consistent effort. It's the power of showing up, again and again, and knowing that each small step brings you closer to the life you've envisioned. Consistency doesn't demand grand gestures, it demands only that you keep going, even when the road seems long. And in that simple, persistent action, greatness is born. The power of silence. Silence is more than the absence of sound, it's a profound force that can shape conversations, decisions, and even the course of our lives. In a world flooded with noise, constant chatter, endless distractions, and the ceaseless hum of activity, silence holds a rare and potent power. It can be a tool for reflection, a moment of clarity, or even a subtle force that influences others without a single word. The true magic of silence lies not in what's unsaid, but in the space it creates. Imagine a conversation where everyone is speaking, trying to outdo one another with clever words or bold statements. The noise becomes overwhelming, and the message gets lost in the clamor. Now picture the same situation, but one person holds back, listening more than speaking. Their silence doesn't just signify passivity, it conveys a quiet authority. The power of their presence is undeniable, and the conversation shifts. Silence has its own rhythm, its own language, and those who understand it wield a powerful influence. Silence allows us to listen more deeply. In the stillness, we can hear not only what others are saying, but what they aren't saying, the unspoken emotions, the subtle cues, the deeper truths lurking beneath the surface. In this space of quiet, we are able to tune into the nuances of a situation and truly understand it. This kind of listening is a rare gift in today's fast-paced world, where we are often too eager to respond to truly hear. But silence demands patience and attentiveness, creating an environment where understanding and empathy can flourish. Moreover, silence can be a powerful tool for self-discovery. In our noisy, chaotic lives, we are often distracted from our own thoughts and emotions. Silence offers a reprieve, a chance to reflect, to hear our own inner voice, and to reconnect with our deeper desires and goals. In these moments of stillness, clarity emerges. It's in the quiet that our best ideas take shape, where our creativity blooms, and where we find the solutions we've been searching for. Silence, in this sense, becomes the canvas upon which our inner thoughts and insights are painted. But the power of silence is not only introspective. It can be a formidable weapon in communication. The strategic use of silence in conversation can create a space for contemplation, encourage others to speak more openly, or signal strength and confidence. It's the pause before answering a question, the moment of reflection after a statement is made. In these pauses, a subtle yet powerful exchange occurs. Silence, when wielded with purpose, can be more eloquent than any words. Think of how silence can change the dynamics of a room. When someone is quiet, people tend to lean in, sensing that there is something significant in the air. Silence can heighten attention, create anticipation, and build a sense of mystery. It's a powerful tool in negotiations, public speaking, and leadership. Leaders who are comfortable with silence create an aura of calm and authority, as though their words, when spoken, carry weight and consideration. Their silence doesn't invite doubt, it invites respect. In relationships, silence can be equally potent. It's not about creating distance or coldness, but rather about creating space for deeper connection. Sometimes, in the silence between two people, emotions are felt more deeply than any words could express. A shared silence, whether in companionship, grief, or joy, can be more intimate than the most heartfelt conversation. In these moments, silence becomes a bridge, connecting people beyond the need for spoken language. Silence is also a great equalizer. In a world where people often feel pressured to talk, to perform, or to be constantly engaged, silence creates an opportunity for introspection and leveling the playing field. It reminds us that we don't always have to speak to be heard, that we don't always need to fill the void with noise. In the quiet moments, we rediscover our own strength, our own authenticity. The power of silence, then, is multifaceted. It's not merely the absence of sound, but a tool for communication, introspection, creativity, and influence. It allows us to listen deeply, to connect more meaningfully, and to lead with a calm, steady presence. Silence is the space where understanding grows, where insights emerge, and where true power resides. So, next time you find yourself in the midst of noise, consider the power of silence. In its stillness, you might discover something you never expected, something within you, or within the people around you, that words could never reveal. Influence and leadership. Influence and leadership are often seen as two sides of the same coin, yet they are both subtle and profound forces that shape the world around us in ways we may not always realize. While leadership is traditionally associated with positions of authority, influence is more elusive, often thriving in the quiet, invisible spaces where decisions are made and relationships are built. Understanding the interplay between these two can unlock the secrets of some of the world's most impactful individuals. Those who inspire, guide, and leave a lasting imprint on others. Leadership is often thought of as a role, a title, or a position you step into. However, true leadership transcends these formalities. It's not about having control over others, but about guiding them toward a vision or goal, empowering them to find their own potential. The most effective leaders don't simply dictate, they influence. They do not rely solely on their authority, they inspire others to follow them, often by leading with example, conviction, and a clear sense of purpose. But influence is where the magic happens. It's the invisible thread that weaves people together, motivating them to act, think, or believe in something greater than themselves. Influence doesn't require a loud voice or grand gestures. It's the quiet persuasion of a leader who can tap into the hearts and minds of those around them. Influence is a force of connection, trust, and respect that doesn't demand compliance but invites collaboration. A leader with influence doesn't need to command every step. They can shape outcomes by guiding with insight and wisdom. Influence is felt, not seen. It's the way a leader's presence can shift the energy in a room, the way their actions speak louder than their words. It's the ability to inspire loyalty, to move others without coercion, to challenge ideas and inspire growth. Consider the most effective leaders in history, the ones whose legacies have endured. They didn't simply give orders. They understood the power of their influence, how to make others feel valued, how to listen deeply, and how to lead by creating a sense of shared purpose. They didn't just command respect, they earned it by showing vulnerability, integrity, and a clear moral compass. Their influence was not rooted in fear but in the trust they built with those who followed them. Influence, in this sense, is like the soil in which leadership grows. Without it, even the most competent leader can struggle to gain traction. But with it, the leader creates an environment where ideas thrive, where individuals are encouraged to be their best selves, and where the group's collective power becomes far greater than the sum of its parts. It's also worth considering that influence isn't static. Just as leadership is a dynamic process, so too is influence. It evolves, adapts, and shifts depending on circumstances, relationships, and context. A leader must constantly nurture and refine their ability to influence, aware that it's not only their actions that matter, but also the ways they communicate, empathize, and connect with others. What makes influence particularly powerful is that it's rooted in authenticity. Influence thrives when it's genuine, when it's an extension of a leader's true values and beliefs. People can sense when influence is wielded manipulatively or when it's used to serve an ulterior motive. But when influence is aligned with purpose and integrity, it becomes an unstoppable force. It's magnetic. It inspires action. It creates change. Leadership, on the other hand, is about having a clear vision and guiding others toward it. But without influence, that vision may remain unfulfilled. Leadership without influence is like a ship without a sail. It may have direction, but it lacks the power to move forward. True leadership requires the ability to not just lead, but to inspire others to embrace the journey with you, to align their own motivations with the greater goal. To be an effective leader, one must also recognize that influence is not a one-way street. It's reciprocal. The best leaders understand the importance of being influenced as much as they influence others. They are learners, always open to new ideas, perspectives, and feedback. This humility strengthens their influence because it shows they value the contributions of those they lead. In the realm of leadership, the influence you wield becomes your legacy. It's the lasting mark you leave on people's hearts, the way you empower others to lead themselves, and the change you catalyze in the world. It's the ripple effect created by your actions, words, and decisions, even when you're no longer present. Leadership may grant you authority, but it's your influence that defines your impact. So, consider this: leadership is not simply about directing others, it's about mastering the art of influence, recognizing that it is the unseen force that drives action, shapes relationships, and fosters growth. A true leader doesn't just move people, they inspire them to move themselves. And that, in essence, is the most potent form of leadership there is.